In psychology, there is a famous diagnostic tool called the Rorschach test. A patient looks at an ambiguous inkblot and describes what they see. Because the shape lacks any defined meaning, the mind simply fills in the blanks, projecting its own internal desires and biases onto the paper. We tend to do the exact same thing with spiritual texts. Poetic works like the Bhagavad Gita are so broad they act like mirrors. A reader can look at the verses and easily extract a subjective interpretation that makes them feel perfectly comfortable. A clear historical example is the Indian nationalist Bal Gangadhar Tilak. In the Gita, he found a rigorous justification for civic duty and political action. Yet reading those exact same words, Mahatma Gandhi extracted a completely different philosophy, anchoring his movement of nonviolence in the text. But there is another document that offers no such comfort, the Ashtavakra Gita. This text reads less like poetry and more like pure mathematics. It leaves zero room for subjective interpretation, which forces us to ask a rather uncomfortable question. When we seek out philosophy, are we actually looking for the objective truth, or are we just hunting for a mirror that reflects our own ego? Most religious structures encourage us to build an identity around doing. We perform daily rituals, adhere to social castes, and collect societal labels, convinced that these actions stack up to create spiritual growth. Thousands of years ago, a 12-year-old boy named Ashtavakra walked into a royal court filled with the era's most elite scholars. He was born with 8 severe physical deformities, making his posture and movement highly irregular. Seeing him enter, the gathered elites erupted into laughter. Ashtavakra looked at the room and realized these supposedly brilliant minds were judging him entirely on the shape of his bones. So he laughed right back. He called the scholars a room full of cobblers. To him, they were merely experts in assessing leather and skin, completely blind to the consciousness residing inside. The physical body is a temporary container made of earth, water, and air. Defining yourself by the shape of the container is a logical error that prevents any real self-awareness. This presents an interesting problem. If you strip away your societal actions and you discount your physical body, what exactly is left? The answer provided by the text is the Sakshi, the pure inner observer, or the witness. This diagram illustrates the mechanics of the concept. The static circle in the center is the witness. Everything morphing around it represents the external world. Your body ages, your environment shifts, and your emotions spike and crash. But the internal entity silently watching these events occur never actually changes. The observer remains completely detached. It is like sitting quietly on a station platform. You watch the train cars of childhood, youth, and old age roll past, but you never actually board the train. Your true identity is not the active participant caught up in the drama of daily life. It is the quiet consciousness recording the play. Traditional religious frameworks operate on a timeline. They promise liberation as a distant reward, something you might earn after decades of strict practice, suffering, and good behavior. But a chronological approach creates a trap. Working towards spiritual freedom keeps your mind locked in a perpetual state of trying. You are always getting there, which means you are continuously delaying reality. If the pure observer is entirely separate from your physical actions, then no amount of physical effort can improve it. The witness is already fully formed inside you. Zero preparation is required. This brings us to the concept of adhuna, meaning right now. Spiritual liberation is not a future prize waiting at the end of a long journey. It is an immediate realization of an existing fact. You are already free. The only thing left to do is to stop all the mental and physical striving. Take a breath and rest in the quiet observation of this exact moment.